All right, y'all. What is happening? This is going to be a slightly unusual show only because we are in the mobile studio, so to speak. Y'all, I done had a lot of problems these last couple of days getting everything up and running. It's been kind of hectic, but we here. So that's all that matters, and we're gonna have a good time and a good show like we always do. We're gonna bring you the information that keeps you going. You know, this is the black factor where perspective matters. So don't forget about that part. We're gonna do what we do, y'all. We're gonna do what we always do, y'all. So we're gonna jump straight into it. I don't have, the big intros and all that kind of stuff like I normally do. But look, Wednesday, oh man, you talking about a trip. I had a lot to do, but it don't matter because we're gonna get the show started, we're gonna get the party started, and we're gonna get this thing off the ground. So hold tight and let's get this party off the ground. Let's get it started. All right, all right. My man Alex is in the building. What's going on, family? He said, "Hola, hola, Alex, my man." Well, we're gonna start tonight's show out with a big old rest in peace. And I just want y'all to know, I shouldn't be on the fence about something like that, but let's just be honest. I'm still on the fence a little bit about the whole rest in peace thing where the monarchy is concerned because I happen to know the history and the dirt that they have participated in and manifested throughout the history, particularly in the African continent. So I have to be, I'm tongue in cheek on that one, y'all. 73 years of marriage to the Queen of England. And y'all remember we did a show about last month, whenever they were having a problem with the with Prince Harry and his wife, and we did the history on the Queen and the Queen. Of course, we all know got a little black in her. Should I say a lot of black in her? So then there's that. I think that's the saving grace. That's what keeps me from, just absolutely being like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, Nate is in the building. Cynthia's in the building. Val Wells. And just so y'all know, we doing this show right here from Chicago. We are in the building. We are in Chi-Town, doing it big. I'm trying to stay warm. Y'all know I forgot to bring a jacket, and I just want y'all to know I can't find a jacket. I've been all over the damn city in stores, and I can't find a jacket. Is it really y'all think summer coming? I bet it's snow again here before it's all said and done. Now, y'all, DMX, man, rest in power, brother. Um, that's a hard one. Like, y'all know the man he's got a hell of a legacy. And from what I know, what I understand, good dude, always was a good dude, had his struggles like anybody else. So there's nothing to be said about anything in regard to any of that. Family man, took care of his babies, you know what I'm saying? He did what he was supposed to do. So all the props in the world from me to my man DMX and another great one gone. I hate that. I hate it. But this is this is the life we live, man. This is we were born to die. So we just have to kind of take it like that. Unfortunately, my man only got 50 years in the game. Uh, Unlike the Duke of whatever the hell he was the Duke of. Anyway, he messed around and lived to be 99, which, by the way, makes him my grandfather's elder. Uh, because look, y'all, I'm here in Chicago visiting my grandfather, who is 96. He will be 97 on his birthday. So I took him to go get his COVID shot on yesterday. And y'all, this traffic, let me just tell you, Chicago traffic, I forgot. It's horrible. So anyway, we got that done, and he's happy, and so that's all that matters. That's my job. Make sure. Look, like I tell him all the time, bro. I hope to get where you at. That's all I know. If I can get where you at, then I will have accomplished one hell of a lot because I don't know too many folks that live to be damn near 100. Uh oh. I don't know too many people that done live to be damn near 100, so I give my grandfather all the props in the world. Um, because he's still here and he's still kicking and he's still doing his thing. And so, got all his faculties and he's a strong dude. Love him and will be here however long I need to be to make sure he gets everything that he needs. So that is what's happening, y'all. But in the midst of all of that, I gotta say, I really question whether or not, speaking on his vaccine shot, are we normalizing death? Like, I'm walking around the city. I will say this: Chicago is kind of on point about taking care of things, mainly because today I needed to go down to the county building downtown. Chicago's a big city. Got down there and I needed to go in and take care of some business. I thought I was going to go park the car, run in, run out. Well, before I park the car, I pull up to the county building, and man, if it ain't a line running out around the corner to get in the building, I was like, yeah, no, I ain't going to make it today. Because I don't even have a daggone jacket, y'all. It's about 50, 55, 52, something like that today. And I was like, yeah, no, I ain't going to do that. But here's the thing. A lot of people are having events and going and doing and traveling and all that sort of stuff. And that's all good as long as we adhere to some of these guidelines, which, again, I'm happy to say that a lot of people are. But there's a whole lot of people that are not. And I think that this vaccine has lulled an awful lot of people into a false sense of security to the degree that they don't think they need masks. They think they can walk around and do whatever, however, whenever, wherever, and everything gonna be all right. Well, in case y'all didn't know, the numbers are up and climbing, and certain cities are becoming hotspots again. But what's crazy, and y'all, I've mentioned this before, when you look at the numbers and you look at the way things are going with COVID-19, it's still higher than we were last summer, and last summer was bad. So it's like, is it in human nature to just become so damn complacent? Like it becomes normal for people to get this thing and for people to die, and everybody is just cool with that. I don't know, y'all. That's to me, that's a little scary. That's something that I think we all need to give some thought to. But it just shows you how the human mind thinks of things. We adjust. We get comfortable. We become numb to the realities. Why? Because we want what we want, and we want to do what we want to do. And it's just become normal to accept everything that's taking place. And it's scary in a way, although I know humanity has a way of evolving anyway, and humanity tends to get used to things and to adjust to things. But it's kind of like, at what cost? I guess because if it doesn't affect certain people, even though I know people who have died, I know people who have family members that have died, and they still walk around out here like it's no big deal. We'll adjust, even if it kills us, I guess. Let me say this: just because you got a shot, if you did get your shot, just because you got a shot, it does not make you immune to COVID. The whole idea is that it is supposed to not kill you. It's supposed to keep you from dying, I guess, but then that will put this on the same level of, to some degree, as just getting the flu shot. Hell, the flu has killed a few people. But it doesn't stop you from getting the virus. Y'all want proof of that? Look at the numbers. Numbers are going up. Now, I know, and if I know how people are, and we know how people are, they're going to say the reason the numbers is going up is because of all the people who didn't get the vaccine. Yeah, no. The reason the numbers are going up is because people are not following the rules, because people are not doing what they're supposed to do. And Val Wells says it takes 3 weeks for immunity to build up, and you still need your social distance and hand washing. Absolutely right, Val. Thank you for that comment. And Jaquilla Hughes says there's too many selfish people out here. Now, I agree with that one 100%. Um, but the thing is, people are still becoming ill. And I don't care what anybody says, there are going to still be deaths, even though people are receiving the vaccine. It may cut back, but, the thing is this. A lot of people seem to think that they're doing all of this as a move toward humanity, as though it's going to help people. But see, here's the thing. Y'all need to understand, they didn't open these cities back up because they care about the people. They open these cities back up and doing all the things they're doing because they care about the money. So you got to understand your place on the food chain in this game. They'd rather you keep spending money and drop dead than for you not to be spending money and, letting them die. They're not going, they don't want that. People just think it's sweet out here right now. It's not sweet. It's just not. It's not. It ain't happening yet. It ain't time yet. But check this out. Just imagine if last, see what did this thing really kick off like? March? Yeah, last March, I think it was April. No, yeah, last March. Imagine if we had sat down 30 days, just chilled out, just nothing, just chill. 30 days back then, where the president put a moratorium on bills and said, no, we're not going to charge nobody nothing. Sit home, don't go out, let you absolutely, like you got to eat, you got to get food from the grocery store. Everybody sit down for 30 days. Do y'all realize this would have already been over? It would have washed itself out and been gone. We wouldn't be having these problems, and we definitely wouldn't be having these to this degree. But you have your people in the world who operate in the whole, you can't tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. It reminds me of this cartoon that I found. It says, this is something I ran across on Facebook. And it shows a cartoon where Porky Pig right there is trying to stop the wolf from driving off the side of the cliff. Now the wolf says, you can't stop me, I'll drive where I please. Now he's trying to show him, don't drive off the cliff because it's for your own safety. Danger, road ends here, detour. But nope, he don't want to be told what to do, so he'd rather drive himself off the cliff, which is exactly what we're dealing with in our current condition. And it's just, it's scary to me. I mean, this whole thing could have been over with. We could have played this out. We could have played it all out months and months ago, and we wouldn't be where we are right now. There's actually a set going on here tonight. Matter of fact, one of my good friends is DJing that party. Ambassador Mr. Kevin Nevels at the Grand Ballroom over on Cottage Grove. Well, and if you just gotta dance, I do have to give them credit for the way they're handling this. There only were 100 tickets sold, and the Grand Ballroom is a pretty big place, so I think that is probably not that bad. I'm still not ready, but yeah, it is what it is. So I ain't gonna knock their hustle. More power to them. Now, I got a couple of things to say. Primary cause of death, homicide. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that Derek Chauvin case. And no matter how many ways the defense has tried to twist this thing, the medical examiners and all of the medical professionals have clearly made it plain that the primary cause of death is homicide. Although he had bad health and drugs in his system, they say it played a role, definitely, and it was a contributing factor. But I mean, We all got some health issues. So the question is, will we still be alive with our health issues if somebody hadn't jumped on our back and asphyxiated us? I'm finding it quite amazing, the defense that's being put up. Um, I have to admit, the defense is, if this was under any other circumstances, they might actually get away with something. Um, now I did one of the medical, or one of the guy who did the autopsy. One thing that he said that I thought was very important is that he said prior to doing the autopsy, of course, he's going to be the one that does the autopsy for that Hennepin County. He did say that he did not watch any videos prior to doing the autopsy because he knew it was coming to him, and he said he did not want it to affect his work. Like, he didn't want to have any preconceived notions about what happened to Mr. Floyd before he did the actual autopsy, which would allow him to do a more thorough job, which I think is very smart. But that's why they pay him the big bucks, right? But the fact is, the drugs and the bad health conditions were not the primary cause of death or the actual cause of death. These doctors have been extremely thorough. I don't think, and I've followed some court cases. I've followed, I've sat in courtrooms. I've listened to people put on cases where murder was concerned and other things. And I don't think that even in fiction, I have ever seen a murder case be put on more thoroughly than the one that's being done by the prosecution in Hennepin County. They are absolutely smashing this thing. Now, whatever bone the defense had in their mouth at the beginning of this, I believe that the majority of them have absolutely been snatched out of their mouth. They are going to have one tough road to hoe. But I always say, in any kind of a case, it can always go any way. But at the end of the day, the defense got a tough road to hoe. They got a lot of stuff to try and shoot down. And I don't know how anybody can refute the testimony of the man who wrote what doctors refer to as the Bible of breathing. Like, all doctors, this is the journal they all go to for information, and the man who wrote it was on the stand yesterday. What are you going to say? Who are you going to find that's going to get on the stand and say that anything that he said was wrong? Yeah, okay. I believe that when I see it. I don't care really if George Floyd had needles hanging out of his arm when they jumped on his back. He didn't deserve what happened to him. If Derek Chauvin had had his knee on the neck of a dog, people would be outraged and they would be ready to convict immediately. But of course, we know black man doesn't hold the same weight in America as our canine counterparts, man's best friend. I don't know which men they talking about. Anyway, I'll tell you this much. You better not have any health issues. And let me say this, particularly if you are a black man over 6 feet tall, you better not have any health issues and the police jump on your back. Because according to Derek Chauvin's defense, it's going to be your fault that you did. Why? Because you had underlying issues. Because you were not healthy enough for them to jump on your back and you lived through it. So that makes you not a victim, but guilty of murder, even though you're dead. I don't know how they're going to twist this. So, and I was wondering to myself, if you're Derek Chauvin and you sitting in the courtroom listening to this testimony, they are basically like, you might as well be laying in your coffin while they hammering the nails on the outside. Because what I want to know is, dude sitting there at the defense table thinking to himself, is it too late to cop a plea? Like, is it too late to get a plea bargain? Can I get, like, y'all tell me, can I get, like, offer me some years and let's see what we can come up with? Because at the end of the day, dude is is in a bad shape. Now, here's the problem. It's not so much about his defense or him getting convicted, because I do believe there will be a conviction. Question becomes, will he be convicted on all charges, which he should, but what will that sentencing look like? What will the time be that he will receive for what was described as torture by one medical examiner? That basically he was tortured, trying to breathe through his fingers. I don't think I've ever heard anything so damning. Not in real life. You see stuff like this in movies and on television, but this was quite bad. I mean, I just wonder if homeboy ain't sitting there thinking, "Damn, can I get a plea bargain now? What kind of time is he gonna really serve when this is all said and done?" That is the question that I have at this point in the game. Now, I'm gonna get a defense day props. I ain't gonna lie, because, like I said, under any other circumstances, they might actually get away with something. Dude is dropping every possible hypothetical, every possible what if, every possible this could have happened that there is. Because we know that he is trying as hard as he can to sow some level of reasonable doubt in the minds of those jurors in order that they think, well, just maybe he was high. Maybe he overdosed. Maybe those are the things that killed him versus Derek Chauvin being on his neck. But these medical examiners have made it clear, unequivocally, all the way across the board, that the cause of death is lack of oxygen and asphyxiation. I don't know what you do with that. I don't know how he's going to, or if they're going to get away with that, but I doubt it highly. I don't put nothing past America, so I'm going to just leave that right there. But then it also caused me to think of something else. What if, y'all, what if there were no surveillance cameras on the pole across the street? What if there were no bystanders with video cameras in their pockets? I mean, I remember a time we didn't have all of this. What if they didn't have body cams? Where would this case be right now? I got to thinking about that today, and it made me realize, and it makes me happy that things, no matter, even though they're bad, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take away from where we are socially, but let's be real. Things are changing. When you have a white officer, not just one, because the other trials are coming, who is sitting at the defense table trying to defend his life against murdering a black man in America, you have to admit times are actually changing, and it's a serious case. And this is not, because just in recent years we've begun to see officers being prosecuted. They weren't getting prosecuted before this, so we have to admit that things are evolving, however slowly. But the fact is, now the cameras are on, and they're lending tremendously toward that change. So that, I go down these rabbit holes, y'all. See, that's what I'm saying. It's making me think about all these things. So I got to thinking then, well, with all of these cameras around, wonder what would have happened back in 1972 when the police went in to murder Fred Hampton if they'd have had on body cams. Would change have begun then? Would that be possible? Just something I thought about. Like I said, rabbit holes. I go down these rabbit holes and, you get to thinking about stuff. You start tying the history of police brutality and things that I know for a fact have taken place historically in regard to treatment of larger black men, not black men in general, black women too, but larger black men in America unchecked. There was no video evidence. There was nothing to compel people to pay attention. The only time we had a change in civil rights was when the world saw the video clips of the Edmund Pettus Bridge, of freedom rides on the buses being burned, and the black students being beat at lunch counters. That's what was required for change to begin. The rest of the world had to see it. Here we are now where the rest of the world is witnessing. We witnessed a death on camera of a man. And that, if you all remember, we had Officer Carradine, retired Officer Carradine on the show last week. And he made it clear that the offense that they initially approached George Floyd about is one that normally would have been sent on its way. Not in this case. Why? Because, we know there's a thing called racial profiling. I'm not even going to get into the speculation as to whether or not that was a thing here, although I'm pretty sure it was. That's my personal opinion. I'm just going to leave it at they approached him. He should have been on his way. As high as he may have been, whatever the case may be. So what? He wasn't bothering anybody. He was sitting in the car, minding his own business. Him and his friends, associates, and doing what they do. Then this got me to thinking about something else, going down a rabbit hole some more. People, and by people I mean me, I'm people, often don't like the idea of too many cameras around because privacy issues. I remember when we would be all, you'd be tripping out on the fact that, it seemed like cameras was popping up everywhere. They got speeding cameras, especially here in Chicago. Man, they got cameras every damn way. Take picture of your lights inflated, go through a light, all of that. They got cameras on the poles here with little blue lights flashing on them. Look all the way down a whole daggone street and see everything going on. But amazingly enough, they never seem to catch the people doing all the shooting. Anyway, all these cameras got me to thinking, privacy. All these cameras. I will say this much. I'm glad that when I was growing up, we didn't have all these damn cameras around. I don't need my stupidity and the stupidity of some of my friends documented for posterity to go down in history as an idiot. Because we did some pretty stupid things like all people do, but nowadays everybody videotapes everything. And in fact, some people even get rich off of it. What are you going to do? I don't know. Anyway, it just makes you wonder. This is, like I said, these are the rabbit holes. But there's a book out. It's a book that's been around for a very long time. The book is called 1984. If you have not read that book, it's a George Orwell book. Let me not call it a book. George Orwell novel. Written in 1949. The name of the book is 1984. It talks about the evolution of society, and they use the term, in case you've ever wondered, the quote or the saying, Big Brother's watching, is where that originally came from. That is where they have cameras and listening devices all over society so that Big Brother can monitor your behavior and they can kind of, run society accordingly. Tracy Sisko says cameras are a double-edged sword. Absolutely. Either convict you or exonerate you. I agree. And they can hurt you or they can help you. Like you said, it's a double-edged sword. My man, Reggie Miles is in the building. What's going on, Reggie Miles? Brian Carradine, retired Officer Brian Carradine is in the building. My man. So the George Orwell book is actually a very important publication in regard to getting some understanding about where we are, because you got to think about it. We're not far from that sort of everything is recorded society. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say everything is damn recorded because there's cameras everywhere. People got Ring doorbells. People got cell phones. People got everything. Quilla Hughes says, like an enemy of the state. Exactly. Surveillance is everywhere. There's not much of anything that you're gonna do outside of your house that is not going to be visible to some degree. And I will even go out on a limb and say, inside your house, if you ain't real careful, because believe it or not, there are people who can hack your cell phone, use your camera and look and see what's going on. There are people who can hack your computers, turn on your webcam when you're not looking. All of that. All of that stuff is available to people who know what to do with it. And that brings me to the topic of the night. We're going to talk about sex scandals and politics. Why are we talking about sex scandals and politics? We're talking about sex scandals and politics because we got this fella down in Florida who is a Republican politician, by the way. His name is Matt Gaetz. And Matt Gaetz is in a whole lot of trouble. If you ask him, he'll tell you. He don't know nothing about it. He ain't do nothing. But it has been made clear by multiple individuals, allegedly, that he's been showing pictures of naked women on the House floor. So you telling me this dude is going around showing other congressmen pictures of nude women that he slept with? How old is this guy? You know what? I don't even know how old he is. I should have checked that. Act like a kid. That's some real childish shit. Anyway, that's one of Trump's homies. But today, he done lawyered up. He got him some high power. He got some of Trump's lawyers. Oh, really? He did. Because he's got an associate, this guy named Joel Greenberg. Now, Greenberg is a known associate of Gaetz, and he is currently facing 30, count them, 30 federal charges, one of which is included is sex trafficking. And he is expected to top a plea deal. Part of that plea deal, allegedly part of that plea deal, is going to be about throwing Matt Gaetz under the bus. Why? Why is he going to throw Matt Gaetz under the bus? Because apparently Matt Gaetz has been alleged that he has been sleeping with children. And this guy apparently knows where the skeletons are. This is part of our political system. They have today, the Daily Beast put out a story. It says something like May of 2018. This guy Greenberg. Oh no. They went to Bahamas, and while they were there, they took several young girls, and supposedly they were paid. And if that's true, then this is going to be a federal crime, which that's one problem that he has. But the other problem is that now they have somewhat of a paper trail. Apparently in May of 2018, Greenberg paid 3 young women a little money. Well, that's not odd, right? He's tricking, hey girl, let me give you some of this paper. Anyway, on the transaction that he did, I guess it was an electronic transaction, he put on there that it was school and tuition, which was the money that he transferred to them. But just by coincidence, earlier that day, Matt Gaetz had transferred him the same amount of money. And so they're trying to find out if this was he used him as a conduit to make that payment. So Joe Greenberg, one of his major charges, I'm sorry, I said 30, it's 33 charges. One of his major charges is sex trafficking of a minor. So not only had Matt Gaetz been or alleged to have slept with or been sleeping with underage girls, this guy has also been charged with sex trafficking minor. Now, of course, Gates claims that these allegations are false. And of course he would, because he is one of Trump's proteges. This is a guy who's never going to admit to wrongdoing. Do you know how many people have come out of this election cycle or this period of time who think that they're Trump, who are really trying as hard as they can to work the crowd, so to speak, the same way Trump does? A lot of them are going to fail. But of course, being a Trump, protege and a supporter, we know he don't mind lying. So that's what you can expect. And no matter what anybody says he does or has done, he's going to say he didn't do it. And here's the funny part about that stuff. This is what I find most interesting. Prior to Trump leaving office, this guy, Matt Gaetz, asked Donald Trump for a blanket pardon. Now, why would you need a blanket pardon if you've done nothing wrong? A blanket pardon from the President of the United States, but you're not a criminal. Only criminals need pardons. Or is it just me? Why does he need a pardon? I'm just curious. See, now I want to know. Okay. Well, maybe he's guilty of more than we know. I think time will tell, because now the feds are all over him. He claims that this is all a fishing expedition. Y'all remember how Trump used to say, fake news, it's just a fishing expedition. Everybody's trying. Okay. This is straight out of the Trump playbook, y'all. They're gonna do this thing. He's gonna do whatever he needs to do. He's gonna keep lying and saying, I have nothing to do. Well, I ain't gonna say he's lying, hell, but come on now. We know what's up. Again, this is the same guy who asked Trump for a blanket pardon before he left office. I don't know what he would need a blanket pardon for. I'm just saying, not a criminal. You're not trafficking in young women, But anyway, House Ethics Committee has launched an investigation. They're going to go after him for a sexual misconduct investigation as the volume increases of those demanding his resignation. That's starting to kick up. But he's not going to do that. In fact, he is in Florida right now giving a speech as we speak. He told, I think it was Tucker Carlson on Fox News. I can't stand him. Anyway, even Tucker Carlson said that was a bizarre interview that he just gave. But he claimed that all of this is part of a $25 million extortion plot by someone. In other words, they're trying to extort him for $25 million, so this is why these allegations have arisen. Okay, bro. $25 million? He got it like that? I don't know. He must have some paper. Well, anyway. But then, to top this off, right? As if the sex trafficking stuff wasn't bad enough, there are also allegations that he had a conversation with a lobbyist. He wanted to run a sham candidate in the last election for the purpose of siphoning off votes so that one of his friends and another Republican congressperson would win their election. In other words, split the vote. Run another candidate and just throw them out there. That's what Kanye West was trying to do for Trump. They run a sham candidate so that the votes get siphoned off the other side and then they win automatically. That's what he was hoping. Well, he was having a conversation like that with someone else, and that has gotten out. So if that is also true, he may very well have even more problems. Now, y'all remember, this is the GOP, the grand old party. Has anyone noticed how very quiet they all are while all of this is taking place with Matt Gaetz? And this whole debacle is getting more and more interesting. people thicker and nastier as the days go on. But yet, the Republican Party has absolutely nothing to say. They're a little too quiet for me. It's amazing to me how vocal they become. It's not one of them. And they're awfully quiet right now. But he's not, because like I said, as we speak right now, he's giving a speech down in Florida at an event that Trump is holding for Republicans, for the Republican Party. They're down there talking about this is a witch hunt and fake news and we're going to take over the world. What is that cartoon, Pinky and the Brain? What are we going to do today? We're going to take over the world. That's the meeting they're having down there right now. But you would think, since Matt Gaetz has lawyered up, that they would tell him, you shut up. But if he's anything like his buddy, he ain't going to shut up. They're going to keep on talking. They got all them high-ranking conspiracy theorists and all of them QAnon folks down there right now. They're having a great time. But here's the thing, y'all. When we talk about a politician like Matt Gaetz and others, the question becomes, what will be done, if anything? Do y'all realize that scandal, what should I say, sexual misconduct and sex scandals are nothing new to this republic, and in fact date back to the very beginning, 1776. So I did a little homework because I was curious. Y'all know I got a tie to history about all of these type of things, and what does that history look like? Alexander Hamilton, he had a sex scandal. Thomas Jefferson. Why did Thomas Jefferson have a scandal? Why? Because he was sleeping with one of his slaves. Y'all know that famous story. Andrew Jackson. Richard Benton Jackson, slave. Daniel Webster had mistresses, many of whom, or they said mostly, if not all, black. James Buchanan, homosexual. Grover Cleveland, rape, resulting in a pregnancy. And then, to add insult to injury, after he raped her, got her pregnant, had her institutionalized. In other words, he put her in a crazy house and took the baby. How's that for a sex scandal? Woodrow Wilson, infidelity. Warren Harding Jr., multiple affairs and outside children. Franklin Roosevelt, multiple affairs. John F. Kennedy, several affairs including, and not limited to, Miss Marilyn Monroe. Lyndon B. Johnson, several affairs. This is crazy to me. Now, that's just coming forward with old presidents and prominent figures. That's not all of them, not by a damn sight. There are tons. Check this out. From 1776 to 1899, that's a 123-year period, there were 12 known scandals. And that covered all manner of political officials. It was presidents, congressmen, secretary of war, the list goes on. All political figures, right? Only 12. Let me put it this way. There were 12 reported. And I say reported because during that time, sex scandals was not a thing that people wanted to talk about, if you will. You're still dealing with people who kind of kept their business behind closed doors until it got out. So 12 that we know about from 1776 to 1899. Now, from 1900 to 1969, we're talking 69 years, there were only 9 known or reported cases of sexual misconduct of politicians. I think that's pretty damn good. 9 in 69 years, pretty impressive. From 1970 to 1979, that 9-year period, there were 7 cases of sexual misconduct by elected officials. From 1980 to 1989, there were 11 cases. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is how these numbers are increasing as time goes on. From 1990 to 1999, 16 cases of sexual misconduct. That included Mel Reynolds, Bill Clinton, and Clarence Thomas during that period. And from 2000 to 2009, we had 17 cases of sexual misconduct by politicians. One of whom was, if y'all remember, the Strom Thurmond debacle, where he was the father of, I believe it was a housekeeper. And y'all know Strom Thurmond was a beast in the politics, in the political arena for years. But he had a black daughter. And he was a known vicious ass racist. Imagine that. Isn't it amazing how all of these racist white males find no problem dealing with black women? That is a phenomenon. I'm going to have to do a show about that. I'm going to have to figure that out. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, from 2010 to 2021, we have 23 cases of sexual misconduct. So the numbers are constantly going up. But unlike, like the early years, back in the 1776 and on, most of those people did not resign, did not retire, did not refrain from re-election. They just kept going. Then you had a period of people with, I guess, some levels of integrity where they said, okay, how do I serve these people and not look like a fool? And let me have some integrity and step away and let people who are more focused or who people can now continue to respect be in power. Let me step away. And that happened for a very short time in history. Now we're back to grab them by the pussy. Y'all remember that. We're back to political figures who do as they please and then lie about it and pretend like it's no big deal. I'd probably have to say that kind of started with Bill Clinton. But I am happy to say one thing that Alejandro Aguilar on the show, one of the Black Panther family here, has pointed out, that fortunately and thankfully, Mr. Barack Obama had zero scandals in his name around him. He was not allowed to have any cronies. He even got roasted about his own pastor, one who I know was a good pastor, and he was asked to denounce him. Yet these people can go around and sex traffic and rape and molest and do all this other stuff and stay on top of the game. It's just amazing to me. But once again, we're now dealing in a society where the bar has been lowered incredibly by a scumbag. I wouldn't give a damn what your politics are. A scumbag is a scumbag. I use that term for lack of better explanation without cussing. So let me just say that here we are with political climate not being much different than it's ever been. Things are very, very precarious right now. I want you all to be diligent as we move into the next political season coming up and be smart about making sure that your vote is counting. Be sure because we are at a very interesting place in our history in this country. And if we're not careful, we could very easily lose the rest of the gains that we've made. I'm not getting ready to get real deep into that tonight. But I wanted to say that when we talk about where we are socially in this country and the climate where sexual scandal is a thing, it always has been. That's my whole point. And that is not to negate the seriousness of these charges or what needs to be done in regard to these charges. But in fact, we as people have the say. Like I said on the last show on Monday, and let me apologize to y'all for not being on Wednesday. I had tremendous difficulties. I had to move the studio, my mobile studio here to Chicago while I'm here, and I had crazy technicals going on. So anyway, we got it figured out, as you can see. So as I had said on a previous show, we have to be mindful that the laws that are being put in place that are going to try and eliminate your vote, they're going to try and cancel your vote. Because, see, one of the things they don't want to talk about in Georgia with the whole voting rights thing is they don't want to talk about the fact that part of that new law says that if they don't like the results, that they can literally throw out those results in whatever area. In other words, the state can come in and say, oh, we don't like the results of this part, throw that out. They don't talk about that part. They just want to keep convincing you that they keep saying they've expanded elections. But we got more hours now on this day. They don't tell you that they shut down more voting booths. They don't want to tell you that they want to arrest people for passing out water, which I can tell you right now, that's going to be a debacle. The minute that goes up, there will be people out there getting into what John Lewis called good trouble. There will be people out there in protest passing out water and sandwiches deliberately, waiting to go to jail for that purpose, because that is the most asinine attempt at voter suppression that I've ever that I've ever seen in my lifetime. So, because there have definitely been worse. Now, let's not forget how many jelly beans in a jar, how many bubbles in a bar of soap, those sorts of things, poll taxes and so on. So this is now a throwback to Jim Crow, and we are not going to stand for that. I don't care what your politics are. Fair is fair. Your vote should be cast and your vote should count. Period. 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 I don't care who you are. Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green, whatever you are, your vote should count. And it's as simple as that. And people shouldn't be going out of their way to try and stop people from voting. That's not what this country is based on. This is supposed to be a democracy. But when you're a loser, you got to change the rules midstream in order to try and make it balance out your way. Anyway, that's enough, y'all. With that said, I want to say thank everyone for tuning in on tonight, on this Friday. We will be back on Monday to do what we do and get it in, have a little fun, make a little love, get down tonight. Hey, okay, now let me stop. I'm tripping, y'all. So, anyway, I appreciate everybody. Thank you for tuning in. It has been wonderful. Don't forget to get your copy of The Black Factor at bmforbes.com. And don't forget to check us out at YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. Did I say YouTube? Yeah, anyway. Oh, it's been fun. Thank you so much. Love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. We are out of here.